Good morning, everybody. Rise and grind. We are at it one more day. This is Thursday. You know what it means? It means it is time to look forward. Look, finding the things that we look forward to. Don't look back. The first rule of Italian driving is what's behind us don't concern us. I am here, and you may notice that things are a little bit different. This is the first time that I've come on and had the headphones on. And might wonder, well, why do I have headphones on if I've never had headphones on previously? Well, that's because I'm trying something. Every day I'm trying something. I'm trying to figure out where to settle in, which set to be on, what equipment to use, what's going to be the best setup for me to do permanently, where I can just come in the morning, turn lights on, turn equipment on, and be ready to go. So there isn't a lot of setup. The way it is at the moment, each morning I set up all over again and I try something new and I keep a little record of what did I try and what kind of worked. Um, this is because next week going to do something really exciting, and that is I'm going to provide an opportunity to let someone else come in via a video chat. So you might be familiar with Skype or FaceTime, those types of things where you actually have video chats with other people. We'll be bringing or a, providing the opportunity for someone to come in via something called vMix call, where if you just have a smartphone or a computer with a browser and a camera, the camera part is mandatory. So, you got to let people see you first thing in the morning. This is a live video broadcast, not audio only. It's not an audio podcast. Um, but we will have that opportunity for you to come in. We will put you on, and maybe I should have set it up, and I could probably do it real quick here. Um, but where we'll kind of set up a two box, and that will be, um, let's set up a quick little virtual set, show you what it's going to look like. So it'll look something like, let's set up where first and put me in. Um, so it will look something like this. And let's get the noisy audio out of it. So it's going to look something like this. And here I am in one box, and you will be in the other box. And I got it right first time. Looking at, well, where is that other box? The other box is over there, and that will be you. I'll be here. We'll be able to have a conversation. Um, I won't probably actually be in these. I'll have regular lav mic on and um, probably earbuds in because I have to be able to hear you without it going back through the microphone. So that's something that's coming next Tuesday. So if you have Tuesday morning available and you would like to come on with me, please reach out. I will be excited to have you on. Um, so that's what's coming up. Yesterday, kind of review, had a lot of discussions regarding my comments on Roseanne Barr, and it seemed like people who agreed with me hit love, um, those types of agreements. Nobody jumped in and said, right on, that's exactly how it is. Um, but then there were those who were questioning, and maybe there was also some just asking other questions. And I love when people ask questions rather than make statements because they're looking for clarification, as I'm often looking for clarification, rather than pontificating, saying, what unfortunately happens too often, if you don't believe like I believe, there's something wrong with you, and I'm going to point out to the world what it is which is wrong with you. Um, so there were a few of those, but there were also those who wanted to decry everything which is wrong with the left, so to speak. And I'm not about that. I don't identify as right or left, conservative or liberal. I identify as Dwayne Edward Evans. That's who I am. And I think my beliefs are somewhere in the center. I on some issues I tend to lean a little more towards the group which identify as liberal, and on other issues, I definitely squarely in the camp of those who are more conservative. Um, but I cross the line a lot. Um, More than happy to have the discussions with people who want to have discussions. I'm not going to get into long diatribes on social media with folks who are set in their ways and want to believe that they need to show me the error in my ways rather than have a discussion about what they believe versus what they believe I believe. Um, so so that was yesterday, and I look forward to it. Next week's Tuesday or White House Wednesday is going to be much less controversial. So we'll see where that goes. Back to today, where we're already 6 minutes in or something, and I haven't even jumped into what I'm looking forward to, how we should be thinking about Thursday as a place of eyeing the future rather than living in the past. This whole thing came about because of my. Nah, I didn't really like Throwback Thursday. I think whoever started it was great, but I found myself getting caught way too much in dealing with what was in the past, which isn't something I need to be spending whole days trying to relive. I can rekindle some great fond memories. Facebook does a wonderful job of throwing those things at me on a regular basis. Dewey, 6 years ago on this day, you posted this photo. And I find that I've been on social media for a really long time, over, no, I guess close to a decade at this point in time. So, forward. I have some distinct thoughts on how we go about approaching the things which we look forward to. It is largely, we receive gratification when we reach places. So if I set up that I'm going to go on a vacation, when that day arrives and I get on the plane or get off the plane at the destination, I received this gratification of I am at this wonderful venue that I had planned to go to. Um, But there are a couple of types of gratifications, and I think the world has moved more towards one which might not be as beneficial to society as the other. So let me kind of dig in. The first type is the one which kids are often looking for and which parents use to get kids to do things, and that is immediate gratification. Your kid cleans their room and you give them whatever it is. Now you can have $1. So you've earned your allowance, and so now there that is. Or you have to eat all of your green beans, and if you eat all of your green beans tonight, you get a slice of chocolate cake. So there is an immediate gratification, an immediate reward associated with doing a specific action. Then there is the long-term gratification. And long-term gratification is about doing something for a long period of time in order to reach where it is you want to go. And we'll come back to that one. I'm going to set it aside for a second and going to come back to immediate gratification. Immediate gratification is often an external motivation. So it is driven by something which will come to you, given to you by someone else. There are times when you put those those little carrots in front of yourself to make you move forward and get there. But more often than not, traditionally, those immediate gratification things have been short term, someone trying to prod you in a direction they feel like they need to go for your development. Again, it, action teachers, coaches, parents use in order to get someone to perform a specific action. It is the proverbial carrot on a stick, which is used to make people go. If you don't know about a carrot on a stick, one of the, and I'm not old enough to have been that involved in this, but the thought was donkeys didn't like to move, but donkeys liked carrots. And so what people did is they put a carrot on the end of a long stick, extended the stick out in front of the donkey, and strapped it there. So the donkey would continuously walk trying to get the carrot, never being able to get it, but not being of a mind to be able to know that this carrot was a fixed distance away and they were never getting closer and would give up. So the same stubbornness which was causing the donkey to sit still would be would propel it forward until whatever the destination was reached. One of the things I'd be curious to know on a little side is, when people reached their destination, did they then take the carrot and give it to the donkey as a reward to then train it to, keep going after it? Because eventually you will get it. So the Pavlov's dog can perform an action, get a result, door opens, that you get food, and then continue that action. So, um, not sure whether that happened or not. With people, that doesn't work in the long term. People need to learn to move away from the external motivations and move toward motivations which are more intrinsic, more driven by things inside. Um, though there can be those carrots which someone places out there in front of them in order to motivate them. But so when I think of it, I think of probably more the fitness than anything else. So I'm sure there are lots of others. If I save so much money, then I get to go spend that money on something. The one I was immediately thinking of was, well, I'm going to go buy that new pair of jeans, that new dress, which is somewhat smaller, somewhat or significantly smaller than whatever size currently fits me. And I'm going to display it or just hang it in my closet as a motivation to get up and do my workout, to eat properly, to do all the things necessary to reduce my physical size to a point where I can now fit into that article of clothing. Um, and that motivation is one which generally takes time. We don't lose weight fast, we don't reshape our bodies quickly. So we have this little shiny object which we've placed over there, and we have to work for a long period of time to be able to get there. Um, so there's one type of longer term gratification which comes from working hard. I think ultimately the things I want to look forward to are all way out in the future. They're ones which I have to work towards, um, and which are also they're also ones which are not certain, which that even if I continue to work hard for a long period of time, I'm ever going to get there. Mm, You hear, unfortunately, I dream about all this stuff. So whatever we're going to talk about, have talked about, invades my subconsciousness as much as it invades my consciousness. Um, so I think about this whole 10,000 hour rule, which is something which stems from a research project. And if I'm correct, the person who did the study is a gentleman by the name of Anders Anders Yared. I'd have to go back and look that up. It's been a while since I've been into the whole 10,000 hour thing, space. But says that it takes a minimum of 10,000 hours to achieve mastery of anything. And if you break 10,000 hours down, it is 20 hours a week over a period of 10 years. So if we were to think of doing something Monday through Friday, so 5 days, it's doing something 5 hours, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week for 10 years. That's a long period of time. Um, there have been a lot of holes kind of poked into that theory of 10,000 hours. What I take away from that is you got to work really hard for a really long period of time to a place where you can't even begin to foresee the hurdles which you will have to mount in your journey to get from where you are now to mastery of something you want to be really good at. I think the place where we often hear of this are the overnight successes, which we hear about. Wow, that band came out of nowhere. They're just an overnight success, and people don't realize that band spent however many days, evenings in a garage, playing music, or in a friend's basement playing music, and then probably got the little band together. They got some gigs. I had a party from my graduation, and we had a band. We had kegs too. Kegs were probably my highlight, but we had a band, a bunch of friends playing music. And those were young people who had formed a band after undoubtedly each of them individually have started taking music lessons and then being in some sort of organized school band orchestra type thing, and then found a group of friends who played other instruments and formed a band. And then they went to practice and they looked for opportunities. Our party was an opportunity for them to get out and to play. Um, and then they continued to hone their craft for many, many, many years. I'm not sure, I do know that some of those people are still involved in music. Unfortunately, some of those people might not be, but they worked long and hard at it. I have other friends who in high school were in similar situations. They weren't in the band which played for my party, but they were in other bands. And some of them I know because I see it on social media are still involved in making music and have gotten really good at it. Well, how did they get really good? They got really good by doing it over a long period of time. That is often the case for those musicians we hear on the radio. They didn't just pick up a microphone and begin to sing and wow, that person's great and now let's give them a contract and put them on the radio, or they're in a band and the band takes. It just didn't happen like that. The first time I realized how much work it probably went in was before the 10,000 hour rule, but there was a band, Hootie and the Blowfish. Those, some of you might remember Hootie and the Blowfish, um, before Darius Rucker went off on his own. And I lived in Georgia at the time. And what was known was that was a band which played the college scene for many, many, many years. So the people had gotten to a place where they were good enough that they were hired to go play in college bars, and got a following, and then received their lucky break. Well, how do we maintain our motivation for something which is way out there in the future? Well, one of the things I believe is we have to set goals which are not as far out. So we have to establish those stones which are necessary to cross to get from where we are to where it is we're going. And if we can put our head down and to grind forward to reach that next milestone, it becomes somewhat less overwhelming. There are probably people who can be donkeys and have that carrot in front of them, something that I want to do that's going to take 10 years. I want to be a nuclear physicist. That would take more than 10 years, but probably 10 years from the time somebody decided that's what they wanted to do. And continue to just plod forward after a carrot which is way down there. Most of us need carrots which are a little closer in front of us so that we can move forward. But we also need carrots which do not move with us as much. I think it's important that we get to where we can touch the carrot, taste the carrot, nibble on the carrot a little bit, and then push it back out again. As a coach, I was accused of being someone who set goals for players I worked with at a bar. And as soon as the players learned how to jump high enough to touch the bar, I would raise the bar before they ever got their hands over the top and could grasp on. It was my style. It's what I believed was the best way to get someone to go forward. Um, so it now harkens back to something I talked about the end of May, I believe, sometime when I was doing that 16 days of live streaming of comfort zone versus learning zone versus overwhelmed. So I believed learning zone was that bar which someone believed they could touch. Comfort zone was being able to jump and grab on and hang on to it and do a pull up and yeah, I made it. Um, and then overwhelmed was something where the distance that your feet were off the ground was so much less than the distance between where the fingertips were and the bar. That just doesn't make sense. We've got to set goals which appear to be obtainable, where we can also see ourselves making progress toward them. Um, and that's what works best. I'm not saying don't give yourself that reward of, I went out and I cut the lawn today, and not only did I cut the lawn, but I managed to get out the weed whacker and I weed whacked all around, and so therefore I'm going to have a beer, um, or whatever it is, a Coke. Um, it is, those are okay. Those are the things which get us through the day. But what I want to make sure we always do is to make sure we establish those longer term goals, the things we're looking forward to, which are far enough out where we have to kind of chunk it up into pieces and go after the pieces. But when we reach one of those stones, to recognize that's only getting part of the way towards what that long term goal is, where it is I want to be in the future. Um, that's what I'm doing. I have some goals which are really big. One of my goals is to be able to do this broadcast where there are many, many, many people involved in the chat. We're having a discussion back and forth on whatever the topic of the day is. Um, and where people continue to comment even after the show is over, and they look forward to it being part of their day as much as I look forward to it being a part of my day, their day, my day. Um, but I know that that isn't something which is going to happen right away. What's going to probably happen sooner is I'm going to be able to create a situation where we're in this box and it is a conversation happening between me and one other person. And maybe there are a few people sitting and chatting and having that discussion, giving us information. And so I say, wow, Mary, Ginny said in the comment, da da da. Or Jake was asking, and can you chime in on, and whatever it happens to be. That's the short term goal. I hope that we can achieve that next Tuesday. So again, if you are someone who plans to be up next Tuesday, I'll probably post for Tuesday here over the weekend. I generally do it the day before. Today's show I actually didn't even post until this morning when I got up because it wasn't a specific topic. Thursday is always the same. Thursday is about looking forward. Today happened to be about gratification specifically and looking for immediate gratification versus delayed gratification. Um, but so I didn't post, but I will post for Tuesday over the weekend so you will know what it is going to discuss because Tuesday is kind of freeform day. It's what it is, which is not specific to a topic. Where Wednesday is, Monday is setting a thought for the week. What is that thought for the week? And then Wednesday is about White House Wednesdays. Thursday is about, um, looking forward. Tuesday is a random day. So I'll set what Tuesday's random is over the weekend. If you'd like to be part of this show, I would love to have the chat with you. It is, I'm looking forward to beginning that process. So that's what I have for today. I'm not sure if today was longer or shorter than any other day. It felt a little weird having the headphones on. Had to make sure that I don't have my own audio coming into the headphones because that's just really annoying. There's no way to keep from there being a delay, or maybe there is, but I don't know how to monitor it and have it be absolute real time. So there's a slight what's called latency between when I speak and when it comes back into my ears, and that will drive you nuts in a very short period of time. So, I have my own audio shut off, so it's only going out, it's not coming into me. But when we do the vMix call, your audio will come. So looking forward to it. Um, what you looking forward to? I'm looking forward to here's my short term one. My short term one is in about in about 2 hours. I'm gonna be out with a friend, and we are going to be working on a project which I'll be launching here in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to get out with cameras, various cameras set in various positions or ways, or and putting together, filming some stuff for a product I'm going to be putting out in the next couple of weeks. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's something I've been talking about with this person for several years since I was running Samuel Grand, and his daughter and mine were both playing soccer. So we're going to be out there and running around, setting up, doing some things I've been looking forward to. So while it has now become a short term, going to be an immediate gratification happening in 2 hours, it's been something I've that's been in the works, kind of not really focusing on it, but been talking about it for um, about 7 or 8 years now. So really, really, really long time. So I'm looking forward to reaching one of those long-term goals. And I have others which I'm going to continue to look forward to. Please share with me what one of yours is. I'd love to know where your delayed gratification is and how you've managed to set up some stones which you're crossing, so that you have some more immediate gratification, which is can be the motivation which keeps you going. And maybe it is you have that little black dress, and not that this has to be about women, but which you know you want to get into, but along the way there are some other things. There's some blouses, there's some skirts, there's some slacks, there's some other garments which are smaller in size than what you're currently wearing, but not as small in size as that little party dress you want to get into at some point in time. So if you have those things, one of those things, please post it. Um, and I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we wrap up our week and look to run through the finish line one more day after today. Kind of always look at the day that I'm in as it's over. I was blessed with being able to sit up and take nourishment today. So it's all good, and looking forward to having the same tomorrow. Talk to you later. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time. Your time is hugely important. I hope it had some value for you, because I don't ever want to rob you of the most precious thing which there is, which is time, which we can never get back. So, see you later. Peace.